us that's missing an important person. As I look back at last fall, with the changes of my sister leaving for college, starting school in classes I didn't have a lot of friends in, volleyball starting to take course, and starting a new job, I realized there's a lot of things happening that were out of my control. Despite all this, I believe that fall of my sophomore year, when there was a lot of uncertainties and things changing in my life, I believe that I was at my best when I got through these things, overcame them, and faced the hard. Because of this, fall has always been my favorite season, but last fall wasn't necessarily my favorite. Last fall, I had to say goodbye to my sister for the first time when she left for college. Saying goodbye to my sister is something that was extremely hard for me to do because me and my sister have always been super close. Lots of people always can't wait for their siblings to leave for college because oh, they're so annoying, all they do is bug me. But with my sister, this was not necessarily the case. My sister has always been someone who I idolize and someone who I look up to. So when she left for college, this meant I was losing one of my favorite people. Me and my sister have so many things in common, like coffee, going to shopping, going to the mall, just doing girly stuff together. And since fall has always been my favorite, we would always go to get fall coffee together, then after go to a pumpkin patch, get some pumpkins, carve them at night with my brother, or even decorating the house for fall with my mom has always been something that I enjoy. But because my sister left last fall, these things weren't as enjoyable. Last fall, I had to say goodbye to my sister on a random night because I wasn't able to move her in due to having volleyball the next day. This was extremely hard for me to say goodbye to her and then wake up the next day without her. So doing these fall activities without her made me miss her even more. Doing them with my mom was still fun, but not having my sister there didn't make them feel as fulfilled as I normally was. Also in this time, we were getting back to school. I had a lot of classes with a bunch of people that I wasn't necessarily best friends with. So coming back to school and kind of being nervous for these classes gave me a bunch of anxiety. So not having my sister to talk to was something that I never really liked. Once the school year approached and volleyball took course, my schedule started to get very hectic. All throughout summer, I was playing volleyball, practicing every day, trying to prove that I could earn a varsity spot. I was fighting for this spot all throughout summer, and I was pleasantly surprised that when our first game came around, I was playing that starting position that I've been wanting for so long. Once joy took over me, and I was so excited to play this, I realized that I really needed to focus, lock in, and play my best so I could prove to keep this spot. After a long game, we ended up losing, but I was still extremely proud of myself and how I played. After the game, I found my family, and they greeted me with hugs, smiles, and words of encouragement. This made my day when I realized that some of the hard work I had been doing was starting to pay off and would hopefully keep paying off in the future. After about a week of late games, I realized just how much work it would be to manage my schedule of school, volleyball, and also finding time to do things that made me happy, like hanging out with my friends, going to get coffee, doing fall activities, and making time for the people that I care about. The late nights were building up, and the stress was starting to take over when I would spend my nights working on chemistry homework, math homework, or just trying to figure out what I would do tomorrow, or packing for volleyball, figuring out my schedule for the week, because I'm one that likes to plan. It only seemed to get worse when I added something to my plate. Flash forward to the start of October. I applied for my first big girl job. I had a couple friends that worked at Meeker Manor, and my sister had worked there for 2 years as well. I had gotten an interview with them and got the job, so I immediately started training right after, which meant I had to watch a lot of videos about certain things like dementia and things that old people go through. So I had to learn about that, and then not only I had to go around the weekends and train in with people that I didn't really know, so it was kind of an uncomfortable environment for me to be in. I finally got used to it, but it was still hard to ask people for help when I wasn't necessarily familiar with them. After this, volleyball started to settle down, but I still wish I had my sister as someone to talk to and lean on for support. Making time for what's important has always been something that I struggle with, but I made a schedule that worked best for me, getting to bed earlier, planning to do my schoolwork during my study hall so I could spend my nights resting and focusing on the next day. I realized that lately I had been going through a lot, like my sister leaving for college, starting new classes, playing volleyball, and more. These lessons I learned because of it made me a better person. I was reminded in September of 2023 that change is only temporary. Lots of people look at change and think of all the bad it comes with, but now I think of all the good that it allows you to do, like grow as a person. Today I've learned that I can appreciate every day with the people that I love, because someday they might leave for college, leave for jobs, or certain things like that. I hope that I can continue this mindset, keep going through the hard times, and I'm happy to say that last fall I was at my best. Thank you for listening to my speech.